Today on the All Kinds of Weather forecast, CJ Hester joins the show. One of the Gators' newest commits in a monsoon of them, a four-star prospect from Cocoa, Florida. Going to pick his brain on a bunch of different things, including his commitment, his thoughts on the Gator football program overall, and a lot more than that. First things first, though, welcome back to the All Kinds of Weather forecast. I'm your host, Neil Schulman. You can follow me at All Kinds of Weather on Twitter and Instagram. Before we go any further, please like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, give us a 5-star rating, and a nice review on Apple Podcast. All that good stuff helps us bring you more great Gator content like what we've got for you today. Before we get to that, got to shout out our sponsor real quick. The All Kinds of Weather Forecast is proudly sponsored by 401k Generation, the wealth management company that helps you invest today for your future tomorrow. Their team of advisors is committed to providing guidance and education for your 401k plan and its participants, and they also offer a range of enrollment solutions tailored to meet the unique needs of your company's 401k plan. Whether it's savings for your child's college, investment advice, or even just your retirement, 401k Generation's team of advisors makes getting to know you their top priority. Their advisors will tailor a path to assist you in navigating life's financial milestones and reaching your financial goals. 401k Generation, building stronger futures one generation at a time. For more information, please contact them at 866 998 5879 or visit their website at 401kgeneration.com. CJ Hester, aka Clifton Hester, we are so appreciative of your time. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be on here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you for a lot of different reasons. The intelligence that jumps off the screen at us watching you play football, and then even off air before we started, just talking to you, getting to know you as a person a little bit more. Really, really cool. There's a lot to like about this kid. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get into all that good stuff. You are a football player, so we're going to primarily talk about football, of course. I did want to open the conversation, though, by bringing up a popular bragging right that Florida Gator fans, myself included, like to tout. The Florida Gators are the everything school. Gator basketball just won the national title, for example. Gator baseball played for a national title just 2 years ago. Tons of Gators in the MLB. Pete Alonso, Harrison Bader, Cags, Wyatt Langford, Jonathan India. You could go on for hours naming them. Gator golf won the title 2 years ago. Gator men's tennis won the Natty in 21. Ben Shelton, currently one of the top 10 players in the world. I mean, UF just breeds these top tier athletes. You can go on naming them for hours. Leanne Wong, Grant Holloway, Anna Hall, Parker Valby, Walter Clayton, and football's included in that. If you go back historically, I mean, Percy Harvin, Tim Tebow, Emmett Smith. There are some of the greatest athletes to ever walk the face of the earth who've come through the University of Florida. Has that thought ever occurred to you that, yeah, I'm committed to the Florida Gators. I'm going to be playing football in the orange and blue in Gainesville. I'm also going to be walking the same campus as some of the greatest athletes to ever grace this planet. Has that ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, that has crossed my mind before. Like just walking through campus, seeing like some of these great athletes leaving a legacy there. Just like it's a real great privilege just to be a part of the Gators and just experience just being on campus and just knowing all these great athletes just came here, played here, and got a great education from Florida.
Yeah, and that seems to be a bit of a theme for you too, education and intelligence. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. The Everything School, though, obviously does include football, which is your sport. And for a while under Billy Napier, it didn't look like they were holding up their part of the bargain. 6-7 his first year, 5-7 his second year. And then his third season, Florida starts by getting blown out by Miami and Texas A&M in the swamp. Florida shows some signs of progress then the next month or two against Georgia and even Tennessee. Lagway gets hurt. It's very unfortunate, but then still they lose to Texas. They're 4-5. So heading into the LSU game, that's the situation. Gator fans are not happy with Billy Napier. They're calling for a change there. And at this point in time, you're technically an outsider because you are not publicly tied with any allegiance to Florida. You had not committed back last fall. So in that aspect, you're an outsider. Can you take me through your mind as you're watching what happens with the Florida Gator football program over those last few weeks when they beat LSU, beat Ole Miss, beat FSU, and then beat Tulane? What's it like to watch that happen? And what does that do to you about the perception of the Florida Gator program?
I was at the LSU game personally when I came there on campus and just watched some of the players and just seeing how some of the players and the atmosphere, how electric it was. to see them be LSU and like their following weeks being some of these great known teams, and just knowing that like they might have some downs, but knowing that they're progressing and they're getting better and better, that really like peaked my brain.
It seems like Florida does a lot of things behind closed doors that people on the outside, myself included, because I'm not in those rooms, don't get to see. So, what was it like for you to finally, because you did have relationships with these guys. I call you an outsider simply because you're not going through practice every day and, doing the same drills as them, but you do know more than most because you were being actively recruited by the Florida Gators. So, what is it like for you to finally see all that work that you know is getting put in behind closed doors finally come to fruition with those wins at the end of the year?
It's really great seeing like all the hard work, dedication pay off, and like all that grinding, sweat, and tear, and just all the grit that those boys, I mean those men, played, and just all the hard work that they did paid off, and like it really shows.
Yeah, it does show. I mean, guys like DJ Lagway and Jaden Baugh are now on highlight films that are going to last forever because the internet's forever. You're going to have that Jaden Baugh run against LSU forever. You're going to have those interceptions late in the game. Um, Blanking on who did that now. Bryce Thornton, who made those picks against Jackson Dart. You're going to have the flag plant from George Gums. Those are going to be highlights that are made forever. So you are now stepping into a program that has a rabid fan base where the Gators love their football. They love all their sports, talk to everything school. They really love their football. So, talk to me about the pride that you feel being committed to a school that takes their football program so seriously.
It just shows like just from the fans like how the love for the players and just the program overall, like just seeing how the fans come out, show, and just like the big crowd and all the great electric atmosphere, like it just really shows how the fans really love the football and just really value the program.
Yeah. Well, there's 88,500 something that can fit in that stadium, so that's definitely the case. And now let's talk about your recruitment process. So you're a Cocoa guy, same area as Chauncey Gardner. A lot of kids, especially in Florida, where there's so much talent there, a lot of kids dream of playing football on the big stage. Let's go back to when you're a little kid, though, before you even get to the recruitment process, before you become a Florida commit, especially. How do you go from being that little boy with all those dreams to getting those offers? Talk to me about the work that goes into that.
Really just behind scenes, just getting a trainer. I had a trainer. He coached for Titusville. Now his name Coach TJ. He was just my trainer because I actually was at wide receiver before transitioning to DB, and just working with him, just behind the scenes. I wasn't really good at playing DB. Just I was just very athletic, so just going to training sessions, getting my fundamentals down, get my feet work, get my hand placement, just get growing my knowledge of the game, and just like every day grinding, doing push-ups and sit-ups, going on YouTube, watching some players at my position in college and NFL, just to really like put on my mind that I can one day do this and get there. So just the grind, sweat, and tears that all it took to get where I'm at.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there for sure. First, let's go back to where you said you switched from wide receiver to defensive back. Why do you make that switch? And looking back now, do you feel like that was the right decision?
Really, I got like two offers at wide receiver going in eighth grade year, so I really thought I was going to be a wide receiver. But during the time, my eighth grade year going to my next grade year, the wide receiver room was really stacked. So the coaches really believed like I had a lot of talent, so they didn't want my talent going to waste just sit behind others. So they said go transition to defense, and defense I saw a lot more playing time. I got on the field, so being on the field and just gaining that experience. So after being on defense for like a whole year, I was like, okay, I could do this. So I decided just to stay on defense and look where it got me now. So I'm really thankful I stayed on defense, and God did his plan.
Look at you now. That's a good way to put that. And you also mentioned, I think in the last answer you gave me, that you're one of those guys that goes on YouTube and teaches yourself how to do things just by watching people do it on YouTube. So How does that process work? Because YouTube can be a hub of all kinds of information. People can also, in theory, post stuff that may not work for you and may not be correct. I mean, I'm sure that, defensive backs coaches will, to some degree, differ a little bit in their philosophy. Like some are just more aggressive, and some just naturally tell you, yeah, go ahead and jump that route because that's just who they are. It's who they were raised to be. And others are just more along the lines of, yeah, just make sure you don't get beat over the top. So, how do you go about getting the right information that works for you? And then how do you translate that into becoming a better football player?
Really seeing like what type of coach, how you're getting coached, and what type of like coaching that your defense is, and like what schemes your defense is, and just trying to compare like what your trainers, or if you have a trainer, like what your trainer is teaching you, and then going on to YouTube and probably like you can ask other people what they see in your position types, or what they feel like you're good at, what you're good at and what you're not good at, and what you need to work on. And they can really just getting help from other people that are really experienced, who really knows football and really can just dissect it for you. Just asking them before going on YouTube, and because not every example on YouTube is really good for you. Just going on YouTube, asking some of your peers and some of your older coaches or some of your trainers what to look for in some of the DB videos that you go on YouTube to watch.
So, you talk about mentors and listening to those you really respect. So, who are some of your mentors in your life? And that can be going back to your ages as a Pee Wee player up to now when you're looking at some of the coaches you're going to be working with at Florida and anywhere in between. Who have your mentors been?
Um, Really, my dad. My dad been my coach since I was in Little League. So just really getting mentorship from him, and just being the father figure he is, really just guide me in the path that I best see fit, and that he knows what I can do, and all the hard work and all the grind, and just all the mentorship and father figure that I look at him, and just every time just getting guidance on what he thinks is right. And because sometimes you might see something, it might look glitter and gold, but your pops or whoever can really see what's real to really help you perceive, if that's something good for you or it's bad for you.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, like, we talked about a second ago, a lot of misinformation out there that can guide you the wrong way. And if you learn the wrong habits, you can get good at doing the wrong thing, which hurts you, obviously. But it's very clear to me that you've had good mentors to get you to where you are. And where you are right now is a commit of the Florida Gators. So the question we ask every guest who's ever come on our show, why did you become a Florida Gator?
I became a Florida Gator because just the relationship piece. Uh, Coach Will Harris, he's out of Miami now. He was formerly at the Florida Gators. He was recruiting me there, so I had a great relationship with him, and just being on campus. And in total, I've been on campus like 10, 12 times. So I really seen all the aspects of coming to games, coming to junior days, just coming up prospect camps, going OTAs, or just being a campus jurors, just to see the vibes, or just to really get the feeling of the coaching and just the atmosphere of the family origin that that has. And then also with Coach Darren Wilson coming in later, him trying to pick up the pieces and just trying to recruit me hard, because I was when Coach Will Harris left, I did like Florida wasn't really high on my board. So when Coach Darren Wilson came in, it really just piqued my interest. And then him talking to me every day, so we have a close relationship. Him talking to me every day just made me, want to become a Florida Gator. And just Coach Billy Napier and all the other coaches there and the staff there, it really made me feel like home. So it felt like a place I want to be at.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, Will Harris leaving for Miami definitely hit this fan base as a bit of a shock. I knew you'd been on campus a while. I did my homework in prepping for this interview. I knew you'd been interested in Florida. I did not know that Will Harris leaving pretty much turned your interest off completely and you had to be re-recruited because that's what it sounds like. So how does that process work when you have a new face stepping in for the guy who was recruiting you, having to sell you on himself? Because the program's been sold to you. You've been sold on the University of Florida by Will Harris before, but now you have to be sold on a new coach you're going to be working with. So yeah, how does that work?
really getting to know the person, Coach Darren Wilson, really getting to know him, getting to see what type of person he is and what type of characteristics he has. He's a real father figure. He real hard coaching. He really like detail coaching and really like take his time with you and wants you to get it right. So so one man is not the weakest thing. That they all together and all brotherhood. That just like getting to meet him, going to characteristics, talk to him every day. Because if you talk to somebody once a month, you're not really going to really know the person. But if you talk to somebody every day, you really get to know them, know their habits, know their daily routine. So just getting to talk to him every day. So getting to talk to him every day was just really a blessing, getting to know him. Because he just getting to talk to him every day, it really piqued my interest. Just not on Florida, because I was already sold on Florida, but just getting to pique my interest of what type of people I will be around and people that I will just be around and they will like have a great just showing of me and that can really produce a character and bring out the character in me.
So once Will Harris left for the Miami Hurricanes, did you get any, we'll call it interest from the University of Miami? Once Will Harris went there for you to go follow him there.
Yes, sir. Yes, of course. Went there during like one of their spring practices. Went out there seeing, really different view of how I see Miami and just Will Harris and Coach Etheridge, just getting to know them more, them being at Miami and seeing their coaching there and just seeing how I translate. Like it was a big hard decision choosing between Coach Will Harris and Coach Darren, but like just that peak of interest, like okay, now Coach Will Harris at Miami, I might want to see what Miami has to offer and just the people that's all around there and see how they can really elevate me as a person and as a player.
Yeah, I mean, I worded that question as neutrally as I possibly could. I've heard a lot of great things about Will Harris. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in between those walls. But the people that are that I talk to have a lot of good things to say about him. It didn't end in a way that a lot of Florida fans are happy with, but from all accounts, it seems like he is a good guy and there is a genuine relationship that he tries to build with you. Now, you did ultimately commit to a school. And I know you talked about the relationship you had with Will Harris. You talked about his replacement, building a relationship with him at Florida. But you ultimately chose the school that the guy who left was trying to sell you on. So you committed to a school as opposed to a specific coach, because otherwise, logic says you would have followed him to Miami. So, what about the University of Florida felt like home to you?
Just seeing all the greats that came from the University of Florida, just seeing the great education they can have number one public school, just and education and athletics can go hand in hand together, and just seeing how I could be developed at Florida and just how Florida can just build me as a person and as a man. And many people that go to Florida and then become greats from Florida, they really come back and give their time because sometimes when I come there on campus, I see other people that are Florida alumni that played on the football team just coming back, being on there in practice or being there to coach. So it's great seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, you have guys like Brandon Spikes and Mike Peterson who are actively involved with the Florida program. It is cool to see that. And then, the guys that aren't even staffers. Like there was a picture, I think Coach O'Hara tweeted this out of Graham Mertz just coming back to visit, just popping his head in, saying, "Hey, I'm here." Cool. Like that there's a genuine connection there that seems to be built. And it seems like it is more than just those cliches everyone gives you about family and it feels like home and all that good stuff. One more question on this, and then I want to move on to you as an athlete. But what can you give me some examples as to what Coach Billy Napier has said and done that makes you feel very comfortable with him? Because everyone says he's a genuine guy, he's big in relationships. Can you talk a little bit in more detail about that?
He's in a like he's real like recruiting me hard because he texts me almost like every week. He's in a group message with me and my family, sending out edits, showing love to me and my family. So if he could treat them right, then I know he would treat me
So he is in a group chat with you, your parents. and he's sending you edits that I'm sure you know the Florida people.
No, edits are he's sending me messages, or he texting me or my whole family, showing them what they have to offer. Sometimes it could be an edit of Florida education, or it could be a highlight video, or it could be a picture with me because I went on the OB, a picture of me and just how I could be great at Florida.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, we're not going to beat a dead horse here, but there was a story of a former Florida coach who would just have an assistant do all that for him, and then someone would ask to FaceTime with him, and the person would panic because it wasn't actually the coach. Billy Napier, it seems like he is the one who is hands-on initiating these conversations. So that seems like something that's going to be good for you to play for, obviously.
Uh, yes, sir. And when the day of my commitment, he called me right before my commitment, just congratulate me, and just let me know that I'm a big priority in the program, and just the man I am. That he's very happy that I'm a part of the program.
Yeah, I mean that all sounds great, and it all sounds like you made the right decision. I say this not just as a Florida fan, but it seems like you thought this through. You were very careful and cautious. You did give Miami the look, the place that the guy who initially recruited you wound up leaving for. You gave them a fair shot, and you decided, no, this, the place that he used to be at is still the place for me. So I like that. I mean, I like that it seems like you came to a very logical and rational decision. And from the other side of that, the Florida Gators are getting quite a player in you, and you're not alone in that. The Florida Gators have been on a heater recently, and a few questions I have about that. But just real quick to set the stage, back in May, Florida's class ranked in the 80s on the 247 Sports composite rankings. So on May 18th, they land Jameer Perez, who's a three-star defensive lineman who's actually since decommitted and flipped to Ohio State. But then things cooled off a bit, seemed like an isolated incident, and then the barrage started. The calendar flips from May to June, and Florida lands Jarayla McCoy, Marquez Daniel, Carson Baker, CJ Brownell, Justin Williams, Caden Hall, Kikua Amua, Kendall Gerville, Malik Morris, Javari Lucas. I'm out of fingers here. I'm going to have to start over again. Desmond Green, Chancellor Campbell, Genevre Carr, Tyler Chakayam, and now CJ Hester. Not quite that chronological order, but that is quite a haul that Florida picks up over the span of about a month and a half. So, first question for you is about the star system and the rankings that I just probably should have gone through just to set the stage. But four stars are set beside most of these guys. Some of them are three-star rankings. It's probably best if people hear this from you because you're the guy that's gone through this process. So different fans put different levels of stock into this three-star, four-star, five-star rating system. From your perspective as an athlete who's been graded, you've been rated, you've been ranked, what exactly do the stars mean? And what do the rankings mean? And how much stock should fans put into them? Because how much of it is based on merit and how much is based on just politics and knowing people?
Probably politics, knowing people, what type of school you go to, that's a big factor. And probably media when, growing up little, when people are little and they playing football and they got like a lot of hype growing up, I probably could play a big factor, overall. But me, I really didn't care about the stars and ranking. It don't matter if you're no star or a 5 star. When you line up, it's me versus me, and I'm gonna win every time. So that's just my mindset.
Is me versus me and I'm gonna win every time.
Yeah, that's my mindset. I don't really care about what the stars because at the end of the day, yeah, the stars. You have the stars. It's kind of cool. To have stars, but at the day, we're gonna see what the so-called stars do in college. That's what people plan on, and then see if the 5 stars. People say 5 stars in the first round. We're gonna see if the 5 stars really are first rounders. So it's really just all what you do in college. So it don't really matter to me what you do in high school right now. It's really what you do in college because once you get to college, all the 4 or 5 stars it resets. If you start from the bottom, you got to work your way back up. So it don't really matter. It's just you got to go there and compete and just grind and just be hungry, be a dog.
Yeah, I mean that's funny you say that that it resets itself because I mean we were talking. before we started recording, we talked off air. I told you I'm very good friends with James Houston. He's a longtime family friend of mine. And so I was actually at his draft party when he was selected by the Lions back in 2022, and I got to be part of his PR prepping. And one of the guys who was like on the Detroit Lions PR team, and one of them said to him, "Yeah, someone's probably going to ask you, so what do you think about being picked in the sixth round? Do you feel disrespected?" The answer is first round, second round, fifth round, I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'm aligned now. Let's get to work. It seems like that is a good PR move that is taught to a lot of athletes when they get drafted or when they, I guess, when they commit to a big time school like Florida and they have to get media trained, before they go speak to the media, you have to get some PR pointers. You already had that, and you still have a year of high school to go. Where, I mean, we talked about some of your mentors. But where does this very mature mentality of yours come from? Was it drilled into you? Did you just realize you had to have it to be great? Where does that come from?
I would say all aspects, just going, looking at many other people, seeing that, looking at their interviews, seeing, talking, with some of your mentors or some of your coaches, seeing how to handle yourself. And some of my coaches at my high school, right now, I'm a head coach, and sometimes the AD, they just like always, because some people want to catch you up in the interview or, get you worded wrong or, to portray you a bad way or something like that. They always tell me just to be careful when I'm interviewing or just to, perceive myself and really like be cautious when I'm taking an interview and, what questions they might ask me to, try to get me slip up or something like that. And I want to need to, act mature, just already have it to be prepared. And, preparation is that's the biggest thing, just being prepared in any and every situation.
Yeah, I mean, preparation is key, and that's actually my next question for you. You're prepared, CJ. You're really prepared. I'm watching your highlight tape. There's one play where the ball gets tipped high in the air, and you have to. I think you have to fight the lights, like the bright fluorescent lights that are just beaming down in your eyes, and you catch the ball off the tip drill for the pick in the end zone. Then there's another play where you almost get a pick six. You jump the route, you get tackled, I think, at the 1 or the 2 yard line. I'm sure that had to be frustrating, but there's a lot of anticipation. Yeah, yeah, I know. That had to suck. But there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of intelligence that has to go, and a lot of preparation, that you use your intelligence for that goes into this game. Where does that come from, CJ? I hate to keep asking you, where does that come from? Where does this come from? Where does the other thing come from? But there's just so much to like about you. And this is one that you don't see as much of, at least at the high school level. So, where does this intelligence and preparation from you come from?
Really seeing some of my peers, because also my team there were a bunch of 4 and 5 stars, and we had a D line. His name was Silson. He at Missouri right now, but he really just helped me. Just going asking him and just how he prepared. It really helped me evolve my game as well, and just how serious he was about preparing himself coming into this weekend's game, and also asking my coaches how I should prepare, or asking some of the college coaches how would they prepare for a game. What they were looking, to help themselves get an advantage, and also myself, because at the end of the day, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. Just know what not nobody gonna do it for you. You gotta want it. You gotta want to be great. So yourself as well. But all those key factors just help play the role in me want to prepare myself and just be the best and just take away and get out all the advantages that I can. Because you don't want to go into a fight with all into a fight or anything you do being at a disadvantage. You want to go into everything you do being at an advantage.
Yeah, and there's definitely some homework that goes into that. What kind of a note taker are you, CJ? I'm very curious. How do you prepare yourself in terms of writing stuff down and then memorizing? Because in a sense, there is an academic component to this. You have to know tendencies, right? When opponents line up in this formation, there's a probability that they're going to line up like that, and then they're going to run this play or that play out of it with a flood concept or a mesh or something when they line up this way. How do you how do you go about being a student of the game of football?
Our in our on our football team, we have a coach. We have a coach. He is an NFL player, and he really helped me break down some of the film. And he has like all the clips of like the percentages and how many times and what informations of how many plays that a team likes or what their tendencies is. So really just and it's on huddle. So really just looking at the tendencies and all the formations and see how many times they run it. Just really like then I can go into my notebook, write some of the keys, some of the splits, see how many times who was the favorite personnel, what who was their favorite wide receiver, seeing how they come off the ball, seeing how they line up, and just seeing how they attack the game, or what type of routes they like, or what type of offensive coordinator, what type of plays he likes to run, or if they're heavy run team, or if they're heavy, or they throw the ball a lot. Just really that preparation, just going in, trying to take notes, seeing what my keys is, seeing if the wide receiver, if he do anything like with his hand or with his feet or with his eyes or the indication between him and the quarterback. Like sometimes it could be a look. It was one time in the film we was watching the team and like he'll look at the last receiver he look at, that's the side he would throw to. So we would know what type of routes they like to run or what type of where he would throw the ball at, and just seeing what type of the quarterback, if he got a strong arm, he got a short arm, just really seeing what type of quarterback he is and seeing where he will put the ball at.
Yeah, so I mean, CJ, it's so much fun talking to you. I hope you're having fun talking as well because this is a very enjoyable conversation for me.
Yes, sir. Me too. I didn't realize the time.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. Like a half hour's already flown by, and I have so much more to ask you about. So, yeah, talking about note taking, you're talking to your coaches, they're telling you, all right, there's this tendency, there's this split, okay, inside release, outside release percentage, all that stuff. Do you take notes on an iPad? Do you write them down an old-fashioned style on a piece of paper? Do you have some kind of like color code scheme in your mind? Like what works for you as a note taker when your coaches are giving you this feedback?
uh, Notepad and a pencil or a pen, and I just space it out or between what I'm looking for. If I might put keys. I have a space for keys. Or I might put formation. I might have a space for formation, and I might write the formation down, and I might write our coverage down, what we'll be in. So going against those tendencies or those formations, what we'd be lined up, or how would their offense coordinator try to attack us and what we in. So.
Yeah, and I got to ask you one more question about your film. How much did it enrage you to get tackled at the two on that pick?
Um, just really, I wanted a touchdown, just didn't get it. But next play mentality.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. It's a team game. You set your team up at the two. You did your part. Your team's gonna do their part. I
Yeah,
think
they
you
scored
won.
us some.
Yeah, and you won that game. So all's well that ends well. But yeah, I would imagine that would be upsetting. But you have a good attitude about it, and like we were talking about, you have a very good mentality and attitude about a lot of things. So back to the treasure trove of guys that Florida got. The Gators got a lot of great players. We talked about 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, 2-star, whatever. There's a lot to like about those guys that Florida got. And also Will Griffin, who was committed for a year before any of these other guys joined the class. This is a very good recruiting class for Florida. So, talk to me about some of the relationships you've built with them, your future teammates to be at the University of Florida, and how it's been for you getting acclimated to realizing, yeah, these guys are going to be my teammates, they're going to be my brothers on the field.
Just when I first committed, I got added to a group chat with all the commits and stuff like that. So just getting and then they and them congratulating me. Is I really a privilege just to be a part of this team, being part of this program, and just getting meet new faces or some of the players that are going to Florida or that committed at Florida. Them texting me. Wanted me to be a part of the program and stuff. That was real special. Or and now I'm committed. Trying to get to know the other corner. CJ Bonner, and just trying to get to know him and stuff like that. It's been great.
And so you talk about the other CJ in the class. You play with a lot of guys who you in high school right now who are going to be playing at the college level, whether it's for Florida or somewhere else, you know that they're going to be playing on meaningful stages on Saturdays and potentially even Sundays down the road. So do you ever stop to think, and I know you grind hard, I know you put a lot of work in, I appreciate and respect that as a fan, but do you ever step back and think like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like this path I'm on is pretty awesome. Like I'm already ahead of 99% of football players in the country right now. Do you ever take a second to enjoy the view, I guess, as you make this climb up in your career?
Sometimes you gotta take a step back, just to admire where you came from, but you can't forget you still on a mission. So next man, next play mentality, and just keep moving forward, keep pushing, and just keep grinding. You can take a minute to relax and just appreciate what you have, how far you have came in life. But keep grinding, keep pushing. So don't get too complacent, but just keep pushing, keep striving, trying to get to where you want to be in life.
Yeah, it's a very admirable attitude that you've got there. There's definitely the maturity, there's definitely the intelligence, the preparation. There's the athletic ability too that I want to get to next. So the athletic ability you show is pretty impressive. You get some reps and you do well at corner. You get some reps and you do well at safety. And we've talked about you previously making the shift from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball. Some guys and some recruiting gurus call you a corner, some call you a safety. Your highlight tape tells me this is probably a guy who can play either if he commits to it and play well at the next level. So I'll ask you the question this way. Which position do you enjoy playing more, corner or safety, and why?
I'm a DB, so at the end of the day, wherever I gotta go, that's where I'm gonna go, and where I can, go out there and show and ball. That's where I'm gonna be at. I'm a DB. I'm not gonna label myself just to one position. I'm a DB. I feel I can play everywhere in the secondary.
I mean, we talked a few minutes ago about like gotcha questions. I wasn't trying to get you. I just genuinely wanted to know. But that's a really good answer. That's an answer I didn't expect, and it's an answer that it shows you're going to do well at Florida because you're going to have coaches who have this opinion or that opinion where to put you. I mean, they could want to put you at nickel. They could want to put you at nickel for 2 plays a game, but you're going to be ready. I feel pretty confident saying you're going to know your assignment. And you're going to be ready to go when you're put in there. But so there are different positions. I mean, safety and corner, there's obviously some overlap. They're both in the secondary, but there's also a lot of differences between those two. So which one which one of them do you like to play more? I understand you're a team player and I respect that, but which one of them do you enjoy playing more?
I just like I said, I'm a DB, so I'm gonna get the fun out of the best of both worlds. No matter if I'm at corner, safety, or I'm at nickel, I'm gonna just go out there, have fun, play it, play whatever position I'm at, and just play it. As I'm a DB, go out there and ball.
I love it, man. I love it. Florida's getting a really good person in you and are getting a good teammate in you as well. So, and again, there's a ton to like about you on your tape, and talking to you, but everyone's got stuff they want to work on, myself included in life. I'm 31 and there's stuff I got to work on in my life too. But you still have a year of high school ball to go before you step foot on the Florida campus. So what's the biggest thing that you want to work on and improve on between now and when you arrive at Florida?
Body preparation, just get my body in order, get my brakes, get my feet, just get my body in shape and get my stamina right. So, when I do step on the campus, I am prepared for any type of workouts or drills or any type of meetings and getting my ball knowledge about the game and just going there, being prepared, knowing what the defense run, how can I get better note taking, who to surround myself with so I can advance and, go and compete for the spot where I'm at.
Yeah, no, it's admirable. I mean, there's always learning curves. There's always adjustments when you step levels up, like going from middle school to high school to college, college to pro, or even when you shift teams in the pros, or even if you go in the portal and you go to a different school, there's always adjustments that have to be made. So, you recognizing that and body preparation is something that, I don't think you can be too good at. There's always improvement to be had there. Um, but so Let's talk big picture now. The Florida Gators are coming into a very critical, I think everyone agrees, a very critical fourth year under Coach Billy Napier. And there's a lot of belief around this program now that wasn't there as recently as the Texas game last year, which was November, the final month of the season. You want to break the season into months or into thirds. The last one of them, November, you get blown out by Texas, and there's just it's like a dead program walking. And now they're talking about as being a playoff contender with DJ Lagway and their offensive line that returns four guys from last year, including All American Jake Slaughter. What do you make of this team? Because you are a commit. I know you have allegiance to Florida, but you're still not technically officially a part of the program because you haven't signed yet. So you're technically still an outsider of sorts. What do you see about this Florida program that makes you think, yeah, they probably could go to the playoffs this year and maybe win some games there?
Going to practices, going to OTAs, seeing how the team bonds, just seeing how they get after it, seeing how the excitement, seeing how excited they are to be out on the field, and just seeing how the coaches coach and see how the brotherships picking each other up, and just seeing what could be special about the program, and just how everybody else involves themselves, and just going out there and going to what DJ Lagway as well, and just going out, and him, the leader, how he is, just rallying up the troops, and all the other upperclassmen getting along with each other, and just making it special, to be, win national championships.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal at the University of Florida. You see the blue numbers and letters on the orange walls there. Championships. That's the goal. Florida, I think, has the best team this decade. Well, I mean, no, 2020 is kind of hard to evaluate that. If you want to, even if you want to call that part of the last decade, the numbers go from 1 to 0 or 0 to 9 or whatever. But in 5 years, this is the best team that Florida is gonna have, and you can't be a part of it yet. You know you're going to be a part of it in 2026, but is there a part of you that like I know you're anxious to get back out there with your high school brothers for one more year, but is there a part of you that wishes like I wish I was there now and being a part of this program now and playing in that swamp now that you're just anxious to get going with them?
I could have left early if I wanted to. I could have left early and came during the summer, but I just decided, play my last year with my brothers and go for the four-peat because I'm a three-time state champion. So just go there with my brothers, go for a four-peat, and then I'm graduating early, so I'm gonna leave mid-year. And maybe if the Gators are in the playoffs, going on the road and practicing with them then.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. And so yeah, you talked about going to practices and seeing for yourself what a lot of us don't see because we're not there. So can you talk about some of the leadership abilities that you've seen from other guys like DJ Lagway? I think everyone knows he's a leader. Well, he's a quarterback, but he's also a really good leader. Who are some of the other leaders that you've seen step up in those practices?
The O line, Jake Slaughter, just how he rallied up the O linemen, how they come there ready to work. And then Caleb Banks, the D lineman, and just seeing how he gets his D line right, and just seeing how the D line rally as well, and just how they going out after every practice, going out there competing and stuff. And then Devin Moore in the secondary, at the corner position, just seeing how the young guys coming in, just seeing how and everybody just rallying them as well, getting them on the program, getting them right, and just wanting to be a better back end and being a dominant back end.
Gotcha. Yeah. And like we talked about, there's a lot to like about this team. You can point to any of the position rooms and any of the players, and you can say, yeah, I like this or that about him. It's almost like a deck of cards where you can just like pick one at random, and then there's a good talking point that's legitimate and true and authentic that you can talk about that's gonna give you reason to believe in this team because there does feel like there's an energy there that wasn't there in recent years. So we're gonna wrap up the show by just asking you as best you can to project the 2025 season for Florida because we talked playoffs, we talked about the disappointment that happened in the first couple of years, and it feels different. It does feel different, but there's a difference between feeling different and then not living up to it, and feeling different, and then that feeling comes to fruition, and you see the Gators winning games on the field. So, yes, it feels different, but why is this team, in your opinion, going to be the one that gets to the college football playoff and restores the Florida Gator standard?
Just the preparation that goes in, the grind, the players staying after practice, getting extra work in, just the preparation it goes into the game and just seeing how Coach Napier rally up the whole team and just seeing how the coaches are into it and just seeing like going every day in practice, grinding and seeing how all the team get along. So I feel like it could be something very special.
Yeah, it's going to be something very special. It's the vision that I think a lot of Gator fans had when Billy Napier took over. I think the talking point that's the most logical and fair right now is that Florida is where you would have liked them to be at the end of Coach Napier's second year. 7-5, there is an improvement from the last year. They took that jump up. They beat LSU. They beat Ole Miss. There are some big ranked wins there. You conquered the Knolls. You planted the flag. You feel good about yourself. It's a year later than people thought, but it's there. You're seeing the plan. It's delayed. It's later than you thought, but you are seeing the pieces come together. I think that's the theme for Florida in 2025 for the Gators. You've got your own theme with your own team, though. You still got one more year in high school ball, like we talked about. You talked about a four-peat. What's got to happen for that to become reality?
Just the whole team believing in it, the whole team grinding, nobody's lacking, everybody just taking it serious, being able to know their job, know what they need to do and how to do it. And then anything is how you do everything, is what our head coach had taught us. So just taking that into accountability and just filling everybody with hope and just grit and admiration just for this upcoming season to become, do a four-peat and, have another four rings. I
Four
got three
rings. I love it. Yeah.
years. I got four
I
rings.
love that. That's awesome, man. I actually forgot. There's a question that I ask everybody that I forgot to ask you. Well, I guess we'll end the show with it. Jersey color combos. That's a hot topic with every Gator fan you ask. So, what's your favorite color? Because every recruit loves to put on the different combos. There's combos that Florida never even wears, like the blue helmet, the blue pants, and the orange jersey people sometimes wear. What are your favorite jersey combos for the Gators? And specifically, what do you think of like the alternates, like the blacks, the all whites, like the stormtroopers? What's your opinion on all that?
Um, the jerseys are nice, but at the end of the day, you know, I seen all your other teammates wearing the same jerseys, feeling like they have your back. It don't matter what you wear, as long as they're on your team and y'all feel the same way. Just going out there and competing and just winning. The jersey color is cool, but also me just winning because I'm in the day I'm a big competitor and I want to win no matter what I got to wear. So I'm just go out there and win and win with my brothers, and just rallying with them, with the same goal of mine as they have with me. So it don't matter what jersey I'm wearing, I love we on the same team, we got the same goal, so that's what all that matters.
I love that. I mean, CJ, not I'm gonna try my best to say this not in a conceited way, but I am proud of what I built in all kinds of other. We have had a lot of accomplished guests on the show in different sports. I mean, we've had Patrick Young, we've had Brandon James, Ahmad Black, we had Jack Caglione, the baseball star, Sam Riffis, national champ tennis star, Lauren Hager, softball. Some of the most accomplished athletes that I've ever gotten to watch. Not one single one of them has said what you just said. They all have their takes on jerseys. You were the first one to say, jerseys are cool, but it's all about winning when that question has come up. That's pretty cool. Like that's pretty cool for you to not get drawn into the glitz and glamour of these hot topics and you just put that aside. That's pretty special.
Yes, sir. Because it don't matter if I look the best on the field. If I'm not winning, then I don't care about looking the best. I care about winning. Because that's the same goal. Because that's everybody going out there and winning. It don't matter what kind of jersey you got on. You can have on you got on t-shirt that say Gator. As long as we going out there and we going to win, that's all that matters.
I love it. I love it. CJ, it's been so much fun talking to you. I hope you had half as much fun as I had talking to you, if not more. But it's been a pleasure getting to know you off camera as well as on camera. I mean, you're a very mature and intelligent guy, and I look forward to seeing what you can do in orange and blue, and look forward to talking with you more along the way.
Me too. Thank you very much for just being on here and just, everybody that they're getting a dog and just someone that want to go out there compete and just someone that want to go out there in the community and just help others as well and just better themselves and, get a great education and just having the privilege just to go to UF and just in general just to go in college. It just is a great feeling. But just go out there and being a competitor and just being a leader.
Yeah, I mean, typically those who are very grateful for what they have are the ones, and yet the ones who are grateful for what they have, and yet they're hungry to put the work in to do more at the same time, walking that balancing act. Typically, those are the ones who do very well. So, CJ, I look forward to seeing what you do in the orange and blue, and again, look forward to keeping tabs on you and keeping in touch with you and seeing and hearing more of your thoughts along the way. We really appreciate your time, man.
I thank you as well. I appreciate you and everybody else is watching. Thank you very much.